In this tutorial, we're going to look at the big picture of how the grade settings work together to affect the overall grade. So we're going to go into a quiz for week 1, which is what we titled this particular quiz, and click the Edit tab. Since this quiz hasn't been taken, we see the question bank on the right and the questions that have been added to the quiz on the left. Now let's go down and take a look at a question which we would probably like to add over into this quiz. So we're going to look at this one, this one right here, which one of the following is not one of the steps identified, and let's take a look by editing that to see how it's set. Now we'll scroll down within this quiz here and we see that there are the default question grade is 2, which would mean that will give us 2 points if we add that. That is a settable field there, so whoever created this question has decided they wanted to give that question 2 points. But that can be changed, as I'll show you. So now let's go back. I'm just going to hit the back button on the browser, and this will get us back into the same view we had before. And let's move that question over into our questions for this quiz. So now we see that that's down here is question number 8, and there are the 2 points that were in that. Now we can override that right here without affecting the original question. We can make that 1, let's say, or any number we want. But let's just say we're going to make that 1 point. We're going to give the essay questions 2 points each, give them twice as much weight, because the student has to put some more thought into that. And then once we get those these grades in our quiz set like we want to, then we click Save Changes, and you will see the total number of points now adds up to 10. Now this maximum grade tells you the amount of points that are going to be given in total for this quiz. Now that is a changeable number too. You might want to make it 100 to be kind of equivalent to 100%. If you did that, then each one of these single point questions would be 10%, or 1 out of 10 of your 100 points. So you get 10 points for each one of these single point questions, and the essay questions would give you 20 points because they're 2 out of 10, which is 20% of 100, which is 20 points. But everything doesn't have to add up to 100. We may want to make this just 10 points because we only want to give this quiz a smaller amount of points than we do some of the bigger midterms or final exams. So let's set this for 10 points and we'll see how that affects the overall grade for the students. So we're going to click Save Changes to get this saved, and then we're going to go back to our course, Moodle Train here, and we're going to scroll down and look for grades and click on Grades there. Now this gives the grader report to us, and we're going to go up and come back to this in a minute, but let's go down and click Simple View, and we'll see how these grades are arranged here. Okay, so now we see that we've got the simple view for the categories and items, and we can see that our quiz for week 1 has a max grade of 10 like we set it. We had also previously set the midterm and the final to have max grades of 100, so we gave them 10 times the weight of the quiz for week 1. The course total would add up to the 100% that we gave it in this field right here. And the next thing that affects the grade that comes out is this aggregation, which there are several different means of setting grades here. This particular one we selected was a simple weighted mean of grades. So therefore, when this gets calculated, it's going to take the amount of points you got out of each of these 3 quizzes and exams, and divide it by the total points that were given for all of them, which in this case is 210 points. And that will get you the simple weighted means of those grade. But all that is explained in this help icon here for aggregation. So if you're looking at how to set these various aggregation settings, that will give you the help you need to select the one you want and to see how it affects the grade. So now let's go back and select the grader report that we first came up to when we clicked on grades. And there we see our students and the ones that have taken the quizzes. And these grades, I've entered them in manually just to be able to show you the settings. And this first student of Val 01, he has maxed it out. He got 10 points on the quiz, 100 points on the midterm, 100 points on the final. And then when his grade is, the Moodle will calculate his grade by that weighted, simple weighted means, and it gave him 100 because he maxed out on every one of them. This particular Val 02 student got 8 of the 10 points for the quiz for week 1, made 100 on the midterm, and didn't do the final. Now we had a setting that you would have seen if you'd looked in the full view of the edit category and item full view, which was this setting was called Aggregate Only Non-Empty Grades, and therefore only grades that have been taken that are non-empty, like these other ones, would go into the score. So this particular grade is not being counted against this student at this time until we change that setting to make it count against him. There was an earlier video that went through the details of the aggregate only non-empty grades, so I suggest you look at that if that's something that you want to check out. So this student's grade is calculated by the 100 points he got here and the 80% that he got here, but basically you add up the 108 points and divide it by the 110 points, which is the maximum you could have gotten for these two tests and exams that he took, and so that would give you the 98.18 that he got. So that's kind of how the settings go from the question to the exam or test up into the final grade report, and how the various numeric settings that you apply end up in affecting the total course grade.